Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. We welcome you to our online teaching academy Ekalive. Children, yesterday we discussed about the law of variable proportions under production function. Today we are going to discuss about laws of returns to scale. In the long run, there is no fixed factor. All factors are variable. So the law of returns to scale explains the relationship between the output and the scale of inputs in the long run when all the inputs are increased in the same proportions. Now assumptions, laws of returns to scale are based on the following. All the factors of production such as land, labor and capital are variable, but organization is fixed, and there is no change in technology. There is perfect competition. Outputs or returns are measured in physical quantities. Now, there are three phases of returns to scale. First, increasing returns to scale. So, in this case, if all inputs are increased by 1%, output increased by more than 1%. More than that. Next one, constant returns to scale. If all inputs are increased by 1%, output also increases exactly by 1%. Here it is more than 1%, but here it is exactly by 1%. Next one, diminishing returns to scale. In this case, if all inputs are increased by 1%, output increases by less than 1%. So here it is more than 1%, here exactly by 1%, and here increases by less than 1%. So these are the three phases of laws of returns to scale. Now this can be explained with the help of the diagram. So here you can see 4 points A, B, C, D. So here point A to B, it represents increasing returns to scale. B to C, it represents constant returns to scale, and C to D represents decreasing return to scale. Now this point A to B, it represents increasing returns to scale because between these 2 points A and B, output has doubled, but it has tripled. So here also you can see A to B means the input is 100%, but the output is doubled, that is more than 100%. So it has become 200%. So it is increasing. Now in the next stage, the law of constant returns to scale, that is the movement from B to C, the input is 100% and output is also 100% constant, that is exactly increased the same percentage. Next one, decreasing returns to scale, denoted by the movement from the point C to D. Since doubling the factors from 4 units to 8 units here produce less than the increase in inputs, that is only 33.33%, but the input is 100%, so it is decreasing. Okay children, in this we discussed about law of returns to scale. Now we are going to discuss about the economies of scale. Here scale of production, it refers to the ratio of factors of production It is an important factor which affects the cost of production. So every producer wishes to reduce the cost of production. So if you start a business also, you will be thinking in various ways how to decrease the cost of production. So these economies are broadly classified into two, that is internal economies and external economies. Here economies of scale reduces the cost of production. Diseconomies of scale increases the cost of production. Now we are going to discuss in detail about this. The term internal economies of scale refers to the advantages enjoyed by the production unit which causes a reduction in the cost of production. So this internal economies, it brings a change in the production unit, through that the cost of production will become low. There are different types of internal economies of scale. First one, technical economies. So when the size of the firm is large amount of capital can be used, isn't it? There is a possibility to introduce new technologies which improves the productivity of that firm. So here research and development strategies can be applied easily. Next one, financial economies. Big firms can float shares in the market for capital expansion, but small firms cannot easily float shares in the market. Next one, managerial economies. Large scale production facilitates specialization and delegation. Next one, labor economies. Large scale production implies greater and minute division of labor. This leads to specialization which enhances the quality. So this increases the productivity of the firm. Next one, market economies. In the large scale production, the producers can both buy raw materials in bulk at cheaper cost and can take the products to distant markets. They enjoy a huge bargaining power through marketing. Now, economies of survival. Product diversification is possible when there is large scale production. So this reduces the risk in production. Even if the market for one product collapses, market for other commodities help the producer. Now we are going to discuss about the external economies of scale. It refers to the changes in any factor outside the firm causing an improvement in the production process. So first, increased transport facilities, banking facilities, development of townships, development of information and communication. So these are the economies of scale which helps the producer to increase his production, and he can decrease the cost of production if transport facilities are available for cheaper rates, banking facilities are available within his circle, and if there is a development of townships, and if there is a development in information and communication. Now, diseconomies of scale. The diseconomies of the scale, it is a disadvantage to a firm or an industry or an organization. This increases the cost of production of a commodity or service. It delays the speed of the supply of the product to the market. So there are two types, that is internal diseconomies of scale and external diseconomies of scale. So when the scale of production increases beyond optimum limit, its efficiency may come down. So this is internal diseconomies of scale. So if the scale of production increases, for example, if you take us human beings, if we work continuously after working for a long time, at one stage our speed or our capacity will come down. So in the same way, the production process also, if it reaches optimum, then its efficiency may come down. So this is internal diseconomies of scale. External diseconomies, it is a threat or disturbance to a firm or an industry from factor lying outside. So for example, a bus strike prevents the easy entry of the workers into a firm. Sometimes the rent of a firm increases if new economic units are established in the locality. Okay children, today we discussed about economies of scale. To receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you children.